First of all, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor to YAHAWAH, Bahashem, YAHAWASHI. Second, I want to say double honor to the apostles, GREATMILLSTONE, who are well. Third, I want to say Shalom, YAHAWAH, Bakyasha, Sharala, to hopeful like this special truth focus to the earth. It's going to be pretty quick. But yeah, was watching the elder, Malcolm, and I saw an update on the food shortages, which was through the spirit, because I was looking for some information on something like that just like a day or two previous, and I saw it in my YouTube search history, and it basically brought it back to my memory, the topic. But it looks like I was the only one that was thinking about it, because a very popular YouTuber by the name of I believe his name is Glenn Beck posted a video recently on his page in regards to, yeah, Glenn Beck, that's correct, in regards to the food shortages. And I'll just kind of reiterate what he said. I have to go back and just completely play it all over again, but I'll play a little piece of it just so that you can hear it.
All right, so we have another stimulus bill that is
because they can't afford. There's no feed to be had, and there's nobody that will test them. And meanwhile, you're going to have shortages in the supermarket. By the way, I've got a bill I introduced like 5 years ago to fix this, called the Prime Act, that would let local processors process meat, and you could sell it inside the state, and it would allow local processors to fulfill this need, so that you don't have farmers killing animals instead of putting them in the food.
Thomas, that is the kind of thinking that we need to get on. You know, Donald Trump was made fun of because America first, but that is all that is think globally, act locally. Every hippie understands that.
Yeah.
And all you're saying is give the local people a chance to do things without having to go through the federal government. Let the states do it the way our Constitution was built. So what's the hold up on this one?
Well, you know, ironically, I have the hippies in Congress have co-sponsored my bill. It's a collection of conservatives and hippies, and the red tape is going to cause people to starve here in a few weeks. I'm telling you, if something doesn't change, it's going to get ugly. And the people who are still going to work, the productive members of society, they're going to when neighbors start taking stuff from other neighbors. And they're going to be able to justify it in their mind, right? They're going to look at a neighbor who's got all this food and say, you know, my kid needs to eat. That guy hoarded food. That's not fair. I'm going to take his stuff. When people start taking other people's stuff, then the productive members of society are going to stay home to guard their stuff, and it's going to just grind to a halt so quickly. And we are weak. We are weeks away.
This is quite a charge. I've been talking about food shortages now for a while, but I don't predict them coming this quickly. But this is quite a charge, because nobody.
But yeah, just not to go on it too long, but yeah, basically you get the gist. There's going to be food shortages, and people are going to start spoiling houses. And yeah, one second, let me turn off that auto rotate. We're going to start spoiling each other's houses, man. They're not going to care anymore. So let me get this, because it made me think of this chapter, man. Let's see. Let's see. So I'll start it right here, man. It says verse 24. This is, and just to figure out where we're at, let me tell you. 2 Kings 6:24 says, and it came to pass after this that Benhadad, king of Syria, gathered all his host and went up and besieged Samaria. Verse 25 it says, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver. So the head. So in the video, he was talking about how basically the price of the cattle was dropping. So they would bring in. I'm gonna get a comment on this video too, because there's a comment in a video, basically a testimony from one of the people in the comments talking about it. But I'm gonna read this verse real quick. It says, verse 25 says, and there was a famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it, and until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, and the fourth part of a cab of a cab of dove's dung for 4 pieces of silver, man. Slovakia. Let's see. So yeah, man, it's gonna become cheap, man. And let me get a. I saw this in the comments. Let me see if I can find it again. Let's see. You see people in the comments on this video are already fed up, man. One man says here, it says, "Where's my money? All you politicians are doing is burning the last of my savings, man." So yeah, some of these, you haven't seen the effect yet, because some people are that do have a little bit saved or put away for emergency situations. They're running out. They haven't run out of it yet, but when they start running out of it, then they're gonna have to start looking elsewhere, man. So you haven't seen it. It appears to be like it hasn't gotten to that point yet, but it is, man. People are just basically they're testing their patience is being tested, and they're running on fumes, man, because they're expecting the government to do something, but they're not, man. Let's see, man. Let's keep going. Let me. I saw. Here we go. Here's a comment that I saw. It was a testimony from one of the people in the comments. It's right here. It says, Capper's John. It says, my friend, it says, my best friend, so it's his personal friend, he says, has over 500 heads of cattle and nowhere to sell any, man. See what I'm saying? It says, the ones he did sell 3 weeks ago didn't bring half of the money or half of what they should have, man. See what I'm saying? So it hasn't affected, and you haven't seen it yet because it's still at the farm level, but eventually it's going to come to your house, man. See what I'm saying? It's going to come to the stores, man. It says that they're cutting off factory work, man. The factory workers aren't being able to go in because before that meat is able to come to your plate, guess what? The people that don't have jobs at the factories, who are non-essential, they can't package that meat for it to be FSDA safe, man. See what I'm saying? If I'm not mistaken, for it to be safe for you to eat, it has to pass laws, certain regulations and laws, which means it has to be packaged and it has to be properly kept for it to get to your plate, which means that if they can't package it and they can't wrap it up and they can't keep the blood from splattering everywhere, then you're not allowed to eat that meat, man. Which means that the people that work in those factories, they're not gonna be able to. If they're not work, then it doesn't matter if there's food, man. If they don't work, it doesn't matter if there's still food being grown. If it's not being packaged up properly, it's not allowed to hit your plate yet. See what I'm saying? So there's some things coming, man. You haven't seen it yet. Like he said, it's gonna take about a few weeks, man, like three or 4 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, but eventually it's gonna come to pass, man. Yeah. Let's see. But the point that I was getting right there, it says my best friend had over 400 head of cattle. It says, and nowhere to sell any. It says the ones he did sell 3 weeks ago didn't bring half of what they should have, man. That was 3 weeks ago. So yeah, man. So the prices of these things of the cattle is dropping too, man. But because it's not your job or your area of expertise, you don't see it yet. All you do is consume. You're the consumer. You just eat. So you don't see the trickle down effect that it's having just yet. Let's see, man. Of course, you still have pride from some of these people, man. Let's see, man. Back to the scriptures, though. So yeah, I'm gonna read it back, and then it's gonna make a lot more sense. It says, verse 25. It says, 2 Kings 6:25. It says, and there was a great famine in Samaria, and behold, they besieged it until an ass's head was sold for 80 pieces of silver, man. It says, and a fourth part of a cap of dove's dung for 4 pieces of silver, man. So yeah, ass's head for 4 pieces of silver. So how much a cow's head, man? See what I'm saying? Eventually, the price of meat is gonna be very. It's the farmers aren't going to be able to make a lot of money off of that meat, and then the ones that they can't sell, they're gonna have to shoot and kill, man, because they can't buy the feed to feed them, to be able to keep them, to maintain them, to sell them, man, because you have to feed those animals a lot of food, man. See what I'm saying? And they're responsible for not just for meat, but for a lot of other things too, like milk. See what I'm saying? Which when processed turns into cheese. See what I'm saying? And a lot of other things, which a lot of people rely on, and that makes a lot of people money, man. And when they don't make that money, then they have to shut down what they do, and what they do it's a trickle down effect, man. So these people that might be, say they might be in a milk industry, but their factory processes more than milk. They process other things as well as milk. Now they have to shut down all the business and the things that they process aside from the milk, because they can't make any money off of their main product, which is the milk, man. So it's just a trickle down effect, man. You're gonna see it, man. let's see. Keep going. It says, verse 26, and it says, and as the king of Israel was passing by upon the wall, they cried, and they said, there cried a woman unto him, saying, help, my lord, O king, man.